If you have pursued a biotech, pharma, or a medical degree, and if you are looking for work from home jobs, part-time jobs, or jobs which will give you high salary, then this video is for you. Welcome everybody. My name is Shekhar Suman. I'm the CEO and Managing Director of Biotechnika. And I have spent 20 plus years in the biotech industry. In last 20 years, I have seen the thick and the thin. I have seen 20 generations of people like you pass away and become successful or fail. Now in today's video, I'm going to summarize some of the best high-paying jobs in biotech, but they are not laboratory jobs. They're not coding jobs. They're not research jobs, but are high-paying and still is from your field. Yes, you heard me right. I'm sure you have already predicted that from the title of the video, and that is Global Regulatory Affairs and Clinical Data Management. But before we dive in, let me tell you the reason I'm making this video. I have a student, his name is Kabir. Kabir was always bright from the beginning, but he hated the medical MBBS thing, so he directly went for biotech. But somebody said biotech is a crime. Pursuing biotech is a crime. So he came to me and he said, sir, all my seniors are saying like this, and I have an aging mother and father at home. How would I support them? You know, my mother cannot walk. I have to take care of her. I'm the only child, but I cannot be in Bangalore also for a research job, and I don't like research. So give me some options where I can work from home. Give me some options where I can take care of my parents. At the same time, do not compromise with my growth and salary. So this video is for Kabir and many Kabirs out there who need support. Now, first things first, let us understand how the pharma industry or the biotech industry operates. Research is the first step. After the product is researched, like a drug is developed, it has to go into clinical research. That's the second step, okay? Now, you are coming into picture at the second step. Now, you can play multiple roles. You can be a clinical research associate, but that's a field job, or it can be a job in the hospital, not a work from home job all the time. Second is clinical data management. Now, once the clinical research is done, then regulatory affairs people come into picture. Now, let us understand how can you as a fresher can get these kind of jobs, high-paying jobs, and keep growing. And you will be surprised to know that Parexel, which is one of the largest company in this area, there 70% of people work from home. And that is something very less people know. Why global companies are hiring talent and asking them to work from home? There must be some reason, right? Yes, they save a lot of money, they save a lot of time, and they improve the efficiency. Now, how does that work? Let's understand. Pharma and biotech companies are born to commercialize their product, and they operate in multiple global markets. So at any point in time, if the clinical trial is happening, it will be happening in multiple locations. So all that data has to get centralized, right? And somebody has to analyze that data, and that can be done inside a computer. So why does a company need a clinical data manager who has to go to office? They don't. The best part, you become a clinical data manager as soon as you enter. So you don't have to, wait for years of being an executive or an analyst, and then finally you become a manager in clinical data management. You can actually get all of this quickly. Now, coming to the regulatory side, regulatory submissions happens in a different way in every different region, right? For example, India has a different format, different requirements. US has different requirements. EU has different requirements. Now, companies prefer skilled people, not people who can go to office, rather people who can solve their problem faster. This job is in so much high demand, and it is so crucial that companies don't want you to waste time going to the office, right? And of course, digital tools are making this global collaboration easier, right? So that is where CROs, pharma companies, medical device companies, and regulatory consulting companies are actively hiring biotech, medical, pharma candidates for clinical data management or global regulatory affairs. Now, let's quickly understand in like 2 minutes time what is regulatory affairs. So if a drug or a vaccine or a medical device or a biologics has to be launched into the market, it has to comply the rules, the law of the land, the regulations of the country. So the regulatory affairs professional closely works with authorities such as US Food and Drug Administration, European Medicines Agency, Medicine and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, Central Drugs and Standard Control Organization in India. Now, what exactly the regulatory affairs person will do? He'll prepare the dossier as per the report submitted by the clinical research department. They will create the submissions management, they will do the submissions management, they will do the labeling review, they will develop a regulatory intelligence so that the chances of failure of drug is lower. You should know this, that 70% of drugs don't fail in clinical research, they fail because the regulatory filing was wrong, and that is how it is so important. After spending billions of dollars in research and clinical research, and finally the drug gets failed because of wrong filing. Imagine, that's such a pain point for every pharma company, every biotech company. So compliance and compliance documentation is a very important part. Imagine yourself like you are a biotech lawyer of the pharma companies, or a pharma lawyer of these companies. So that is where you come into picture, and it is a great profession. Now coming to clinical data management. What is happening with clinical data management? Let us understand. Clinical data management started as a centralized role where people would analyze data and give reports. But then when the FDA mandated that the clinical trials has to happen at 100,000 patients in say 120 or 150 locations, it became impossible. You can't have CDM professional in one location, another location. And with the advent of computer, we can save time. All the data comes at one place and I can analyze. So CDM professional can analyze the patient data which is coming in for accuracy, for consistency. He will manage the database, he will do the query resolution, and of course, make sure that the dossier is ready for the regulatory people. The regulatory compliance is maintained throughout the process. He will overview throughout all the sites wherever clinical research is going on. Now, he'll be working with softwares, right? And that is what makes it interesting. None of your course prepares you for global regulatory affairs or clinical research or clinical data management. But you'll have to learn some softwares like Medidata Rave, Oracle Clinical, Viva Vault, EDC platforms. You'll have to learn. And that is where Biotechnika comes into picture. Our team of scientists in Biotechnika CRO who are actively working with various pharma and biotech companies and helping them with CDM and global regulatory affairs services, you can work with them. How this works is, first you'll have to take the training. You take the training from our scientists, our regulatory affairs professional, our clinical research and clinical data management professionals. They will teach you on Medidata Rave, they will teach you on Oracle Clinical, Viva Vault, EDC platforms. You'll get a hands-on training on that. And in fact, we train a lot of corporates also who are getting started in this. You take the training, then you do a project, a real project, and then you are placed in these companies. Now, who is eligible for this training program? Let me tell you. So this training program, one of them is starting from 26th of June. That is for global regulatory affairs. The link is given in the comment section. And then we have another one, which is for clinical data management, which is starting from 2nd of July. And both of these are conducted only once a year. So if you miss the chance, only recorded classes will be available. The projects will obviously be live, but you'll miss means it's gone, you cannot get it back. So now let's quickly understand who all are eligible for these two kind of jobs. BSc Life Sciences, BSc Biotechnology, MSc or BSc or MSc in any of these: Life Science, Biotechnology, Microbiology, Biochemistry, Genetics, Pharma, B Pharma, M Pharma, Pharma D, MSc Life Sciences, MBBS, BDS, Nursing and Allied Health Sciences candidates are eligible for this kind of job, and this is a work from home job. Now let us look at what are the skills required. Now, one of the biggest mistake most people do is they will go in the market and say, okay, I want to become a global regulatory affairs, let me buy a course and learn. That's absolutely wrong, because the motivation to learn that course will be only for 5 days. The 6th day you will forget it. Okay, and that is why none of Biotechnika's courses are courses. Actually, they are projects. Okay, so what happens with Biotechnika? And of course, Pharmanika also is collaborating with us. So what happens here is you learn this craft and then you give an interview with our pharma professional partner. And then once you qualify the interview, they give you offer letter, you work in their project and you get work experience. And then your resume comes back not as a fresher, but as an experienced professional. And of course, this project is work from home. And then you get a job. Biotechnika takes care of the placement. So how it is, like Biotechnika and Pharmanika has partnered with various pharma CROs, and now we train, we put you in those projects, and once you have worked, you get work experience letter, and then you come back, we place you. That's how the system works. Now let's look at the skills you'll require. So for a regulatory professional, you have to learn the ICH guidelines, CTD and ECTD, IND, NDA and BLA concepts, regulatory writing, medical writing, submission, life cycle management, and FDA, EMA regulations updation. For a CDM professional, you need to learn the clinical trial process, GCP guidelines, EDC systems, data validation tools, query management, medical terminologies, and basic SQL is very much required. Now, SQL is a database management tool, so you can learn that also. Now, mistakes what candidates do, they think, okay, I can get a work from home job, Shekhar sir said, so let's enroll in a course. Don't. If your motivation lasts only 5 days, you're going to waste your money. You have to somehow convince yourself that, see, after this training, I have to do a project, and that project is the real thing. So that is what Biotechnika and Pharmanica comes into picture. We train you and then put you in a project with our Pharma CRO partner. So you get the project, you get the work experience. Only collecting degrees and certificates is not enough. Hands-on projects is very important. Exposure to real case studies is very important, and exposure and understanding of global regulations is very important. And most freshers have zero LinkedIn presence. In fact, they forget to upload their photo also. So take the training, do the project, post it on LinkedIn, and then you get noticed faster. And then what people do is just after the certificate, they start applying for random jobs. That's not how it works. You got to have a plan of 90 days. Learn regulatory affairs or CDM for 90 days, understand the clinical trials workflow, create your LinkedIn profile, work on practical projects with us, learn documentary standards, and then practice the regulatory submissions or the CDM workflows, then build a portfolio, update your resume, start applying globally. That's a complete picture of how you make things happen. Now, one last thing I would like to highlight here, getting remote jobs in this domain is super easy. All you have to do is follow Biotechnika. Be subscribed to our website. You'll get the newsletter every day where we'll inform you. The top companies here are Biotechnika, IQVIA, Parexel, Syneos, Fortrea, and LabCorp. And then as a fresher, how can you beat the experienced candidates? You have to learn AI in CDM, AI in regulatory affairs, and this is a part of our training program as well. So you can learn the niche tools, you can develop project experience, demonstrate practical skills, showcase case studies, and then publish learning projects on LinkedIn. That's how you get noticed, and then you have to attend industry webinars and seminars, and then you get high-paying jobs. What will be the salary, by the way? So the fresher will start at 6 LPA, goes up to 10 LPA. Experience starts at 8 LPA, goes up to 20 LPA. There is lakhs of rupees per annum, and global remote contracts are there. So you are India, city like Bhatinda or Patna, and you are working for a CDM major in US. Regulatory affairs starts at 7 lakhs per annum, goes up to 10 lakhs per annum for freshers. For experience, it's 10 lakhs to 25 lakhs. And once you are a specialized global regulatory expert, you earn much more. Now, here is something you should know. You'll not find very good teachers for this anywhere. The reason is because the salaries are so high in the industry itself, they don't come and opt for the teaching profession, and that's one of the reasons you don't find these courses anywhere. Biotechnika is fortunate because we have a network of pharma and biotech CROs with whom we are talking all the time. So they send their trainers, they send their scientists, and they also train. And of course, we are ourselves doing the research, clinical research and clinical data management in Bengaluru. So that is the benefit you get. So the future of life science is increasingly going global. Your degree is no longer limited to the research lab. Your skills are going to get you hired in CDM and global regulatory affairs. And if you are interested, here's a solution. The link pinned in the comment section helps you chat with me and our team, and you will get all the details about global regulatory affairs and AI CDM which you might have. And of course, you're welcome to comment below and I will guide you. Have a good life ahead, good career ahead, and work from home jobs are going to come your way if you get started today.